filming my December reading wrap up. I know I'm a bit late because it is like nearly halfway through January getting, but better than late than never. I'm just having a sip of my tea. I've got a bit of a sore throat. December wasn't a very good reading month. I only read 4 books because I was just too busy with Christmas and everything. But I read 2 was on audiobook, 1 was an ebook, and 1 was an actual physical book. So I'm going to give you these my least favourite. So my least favourite was a book called, which I'll pick the picture up here, was a book called The Pisces by Melissa Broder. This I listened to audiobook, and it was a very strange book. I don't even know how to explain this, but it's about this woman, and she's just split with a boyfriend. She actually found out he was cheating on her, so she hit him. And because she hit him, she got put in anger management, sort of like therapy for these other women who are love struck, should I say. And she's in this anger management, but then she decides to go and look after her sister's dog while her sister goes on holiday. And while she's over there, she decides to go on Tinder, and she meets these 2 different men and goes on dates with them. And it goes into detail about how she's preparing to meet up with them and have sex with them, and also anal. And it goes into very specific detail. And then that's not the weirdest bit. The weirdest bit is she actually meets a merman, and she starts seeing this merman, and they have sex and things like that. One day she's on her period, and he loves it. And I'm not even going to explain to it. I was almost physically sick. I was actually listening to this on audio, and I was in my bedroom, and my husband walked in, and he walked in halfway through one of the sex scenes, and he was like, "What the hell is going on? What are you listening to?" I was like, "Oh my god!" But it was a very strange book. But I rated it. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. If you like into erotic books, which is into really gruesome details, then you might like it. But I give that 1 out of 5 stars. My next book I read was on audiobook too, and it was The Handmaid's Tale. I wanted to read the Testaments, so I never read The Handmaid's Tale so far. I read The Handmaid's Tale first, and then we could do the Testaments after. So I've listened to Handmaid's Tale, and I heard that it's supposed to be a really good book. I enjoyed it. It's about a handmaid who, well, actually, I don't want to completely understand how it went about. Everything was normal. The world was normal, but all of a sudden, women were like downgraded because some women was having trouble getting pregnant, and then all of a sudden women was downgraded, and then some women who could have babies was classed as handmaids, which had to go and live in a house and have sex with the commander, the man of the house, basically, to become pregnant and have a baby for him and his wife. And that's the tale about how it's like their rules and basically the life of one of the handmaids. I quite enjoyed it. It was a bit confusing. I still don't understand how it went from being completely normal world to we're living in this Gideon, is it called? Gideon? It didn't really much explain how it went to that. I explained a little bit, but not really. But I quite enjoyed the book. It was really good actually, and I give it 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 stars. And the next one was an actual physical book, which I read, which was Christmas Carol. Now, with it being Christmas, I thought I got to read a Christmas book. I've had this on my shelf for ages, and I just love the cover. It's a gorgeous cover, isn't it? I've got a series of these classic books and all with these beautiful covers. This is the first time I've actually read this, but I thought I've seen millions of different versions of the film, so I thought I'll give the original book a go, and I did enjoy it. The film it reminded me of the most was the Disney's Christmas Carol, the animation version, which is voiced by Jim Carrey. Like it's basically word for word, because I never realised it was word for word, but it's basically word for word of the actual film, which I really enjoyed actually, because I could just picture the film in my head as I was reading it. There's some extra bits in here that isn't on the film, but I did enjoy reading this. The only thing was, because it's obviously an old book, 1800s book, some of the words are tricky to get used to, the words, the way the writing is, the words, I mean, the right, you know, old-fashioned words basically. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book actually. It was a good Christmas book to read, and I absolutely loved the story of this, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. And last but not least, I read Serpent and Off by Shelby Mahern, is it? I read this on audiobook. No, I didn't. Ebook. I read this on ebook. I've heard a lot of reviews about this. Some giving it 5 stars, some just giving it 2, some saying the book is too hyped. It's too hyped, and it's not, it's rubbish basically. But I thought, it sounded quite good. It's about a witch and a witch hunter who are forced to marry, but he doesn't know that she is a witch. But you know, and that's so it's a bit, yeah. But I actually really enjoyed it. It's not my kind of story normally, a fantasy, a young adult fantasy, but I thought I'd read it, see what everyone's on about, and I loved it. I actually read it. I thought it was a great story. Yeah, and it's about that basically, about a witch hunter marrying a witch and thingy, and how they've got to all these fight the witches and stuff, but how in the end try and make them come together, sort of. But I really enjoyed it. I give it 5 out of 5 stars, which is I think it's my second 5 out of 5 stars of the whole year of 2019. The other one was Single Thread by Tracy Chevalier. But the ending is really good, but it does leave you on a cliffhanger. And there is actually a second book of Serpent and Off coming out called Blood and Honey, and it's due to be released September 2020. So I'm really actually looking forward to that. That's one of the books that I'll be getting in 2020 that I can't wait to read. So that's 5 out of 5 stars to me. So even this may be a short video, I'm hoping to do a lot more reading in 2020. My minimum thing I'm hoping to reach is 50 books, which some people think that's loads, some people think that's not very much. But to me, we'll see. My 25 was this year, and I reached 28, 29, but I didn't count all non-fiction books or children's books. This year, I'm going to count non-fiction and children's books in that total. So we'll see. So I will leave all the links below where you can buy the books, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.